Hello guys, welcome to CanQuest. So today we will be analyzing today's in the Hindu newspaper. Today I didn't highlight as such, so we can move through the headlines. So Yediyurappa is going out, then the first page, there is not much news, but yeah, this Assam-Mizoram border row is going on. So that is an internal security issue. So let's see what is the issue is all about. Okay. Can see that Hindu news. So right now I'm reading from Insights also about this internal security issue, Assam-Mizoram border issue. So the context is we need to understand earlier in June this year, two abandoned houses along the Mizoram-Assam border were burned down by unidentified persons. Okay. So what happened is okay. Earlier in June this year, two abandoned houses along the Mizoram-Assam border were burned down by unidentified persons, fueling tension along the volatile. So this area is very volatile interstate border. And now, early a month after this incident, the border dispute between two neighboring states has cropped up again, with both accusing each other of encroaching on their respective territories. So what is the immediate cause? According to Mizoram, people from Assam has violated the status quo as agreed upon between two state governments a few years ago, no man's land. So that is the case regarding Mizoram to trigger the present crisis. So Assam people violated the status quo, so that's why they are doing this. And what is the dispute? Mizoram was carved out of Assam. That is in our polity, right? Mizoram came out of Assam as union territory in 1972, and by 1987 became a full-fledged state later. The two states have sparred over this 164.6 kilometer long interstate border over the past, and sometimes leading to violent clashes. So this Mizo-Assam issue, then Mizoram, Assam wanted borderland, so many issues are there. And then dispute stems from two notifications under British era. So first in 1875, that differentiated Lushal Hills from the plains of Kachar, and second notification of 1933 that demarcates a boundary between Lushal Hills and Manipur. Okay, so there were two notifications under British era. So what are the present claims? Mizoram claims that the land is theirs and is based on 1875 notification, fine, which came from the Bengal Eastern Frontier Regulation Act. So that is Mizoram's claim. Then Assam, for its part, claims that the land is theirs. That is 1933 notification by the state government. that demarcated the Lushai Hills, which Mizoram was formerly known as, from the province of Manipur. Okay, Lushai from Manipur. So that is the, so during colonial times, Mizoram is also known as Lushai Hills, and it was a district of Assam. So Mizo part of Assam, carved out of Assam. It's also known as Lushai Hills. So there are two notifications, and what is led to this clash is the border between two neighboring states is an imaginary line that changes with the natural obstacles. So this is not artificial, it is imaginary, because the natural obstacles, rivers, hills, valleys, forest, they keep on changing this line. And people of Assam and Mizoram have attributed the border conflicts to the differences over this not so clear boundary. Hence, often people living in the border areas cross over because they don't know, not fully aware of the border demarcation. So that is one issue. Okay, then if you see the map of Assam and Mizoram, you can see the clear picture. Assam, Karimganj, Hailakandi, Kachar is in Assam. Then okay, so there are protect. So this is the issue. So we should know about that issue. That's it. Then Bengal forms panel to look into the sleuthing allegations about Pegasus. That's just, we need to know. These can be skipped. Okay. Yeah, I have highlighted. Okay. This is important regarding environment. Microbes from human, animal, and excreta found above. So this is found very high amount in Yamuna. Very difficult to achieve bathing quality standards. So levels of fecal coliform, that is microbes from human and animal excreta, is above desirable limits in all points in Yamuna. Yamuna is in Delhi, so you can see, look about Yamuna river, its tributary source, states, except for Palla, where this river enters capital by Palla. Report submitted to the Union Ministry of Jal Shakti. So the ministry, there is an absence of minimum environmental flow of the Yamuna in Delhi. There is no bathing quality standards. This river, there is dilution of polluted water in the Yamuna in Delhi. Then BOD less than 3. So the numbers, over 80% is polluted. So according to IUCN and international water flow, what is not in environmental flow to provide within a river, wetland, coastal zone to maintain ecosystems. So that is environmental flow, and their benefits where they are competing water uses. Okay, those are related. So this news is important. Then Puri becomes India's first city to provide quality drinking tap water. It can be used for films and also answers. Yesterday we saw this Anganwadi flag tap water, schools like drink from tap project. So that is a scheme by that Puri is in Odisha to collect quality drinking water directly from the tap. People need not have to store or filter drinking water. This drink from tap project, you can use this as case study also, because it is access to water supply. What is the impact of this? Okay. Metropolitan city can be done in other states also. Sri Kshetra scheme. Okay. 2.5 lakh citizens of Puri and then tourists every year. No more. This also reduce plastic waste. Okay. Drink from tap project. Can note it down if you need it. That one. Not it's fine. Just remember. Okay, coming to the next news. Thane Sanctuary proposed MMR's on Ramsar site. Okay. So Ramsar site is important, but it's proposed MMR Mumbai Metropolitan Region. So Thane Creek Flamingo Sanctuary. Okay. Thane Creek Flamingo Sanctuary. What is a Ramsar site? It is a wetland area designated to be of international importance under the Ramsar Convention. What is that? An intergovernmental environmental treaty that provides the framework for national action and international cooperation for the conservation and wise use of wetlands and resources. So this whole paragraph is one can be copied. Ramsar site. Okay. What is a Ramsar site? The wetland designated to be of international importance under the Ramsar Convention. So that is an intergovernmental environmental treaty. There is a framework for the international cooperation, conservation, and wise use of wetlands and their resources. Okay. Then how it got recommended? Who all are involved? Okay. Task force, everything is there. Thane is in Maharashtra. Thane Creek Flamingo Sanctuary. So coming to our editorials. West Afghanistan is there by Stanley Johnny. Then immigration bill that does not clip, and then Wounded Mountains. Okay, these are the then articles we need to give more focus. Coming to with the West done with Afghanistan, New Delhi needs to adopt. So India and Afghanistan, we need to adopt a layered approach in finding political solution. It is not a coincidence that the US is exiting Afghanistan at the same time that the focus of its foreign policy is shifting to East Asia. Okay, so US withdrew and it's more west to east instead of staying engaged in the lost wars, which adds American power and should urgently prepare itself for the unfolding geopolitical contest with China. America's strategic response to China's rise in its Indo-Pacific strategy. It is a bloc of Indian and Pacific Ocean democracies aimed at containing China's rise and challenging. US wants India to play a key role in this bloc, which along with there is Quad formal summit with Australia, Japan, India, US. Okay, and there is one problem. India, unlike other members, is only continental Asian power in Quad. Okay, those are not Asian. It shares contested, so we have issues with China and we are vulnerable to just geopolitical changes in the Eurasian landmass. So US may have retreated from Afghanistan as part of a grand strategy to take on China in maritime Asia, and which so it's part of their other motive can be, India might find tempting to join the ranks, especially after China's delay. But the irony is that American withdrawal and vacuum leaves being filled by China and Russia is being reinforcing India's identity as a continental Asian power. Barring a brief, so all have motives. India has its own Asian power motives. US to counter China, then China wants to ensure hegemony, then Pakistan has its own interest. So India has historically enjoyed good ties with Afghanistan. 1950 Treaty of Friendship is there, and Indian interest and influence suffered when the Taliban, backed by Pakistan, captured Kabul. 1996. It's about history. So since Taliban, it was backed by Pakistan. India was back in action when the Taliban was ousted in power to the US invasion 2001, made huge investment commitments. Always India wanted to have democracy in Afghanistan, and defense ties with Afghan government, especially Ashraf Ghani, and staring at uncertainty with the US pullback effectively changed the balance of power in Afghanistan. Since then, there was hegemony, balance of power, but now there is no hegemonic stability. Is there? Rapid and US strategic objectives in Afghanistan were limited, as US Biden killing Laden and disrupting Al Qaeda network. That was their aim, and defeating the Taliban and nation building. So it's part of neo-conservative ideological project. What is neo-conservative? Defeating Taliban and nation building. So it got failed. It's a failed project for US. This means US have been having met its realist objectives, that is abandon the Afghan government and exit the theater, which is what Biden is doing. But India cannot. It has to protect its investments, prevent Afghanistan from another safe haven for anti-India terrorist groups. So it is very critical for India. So check Pakistan deepening. We need to check, and we need to talk with Taliban. So what should one option in Rainbow, many commanders already. We need to hold talks with Taliban. Talk with Taliban. Habiban Jacob also talked about that. That New Delhi to seek security guarantees from insurgents, and then India had backed anti-Taliban Northern Island Alliance can be carried forward. Okay, Taliban's autonomy from Pakistan. It was overlooked it while fighting the Taliban along with Pakistan. Paid a heavy price for it. There is no guarantee that India's quest for engagement with Taliban would produce a desirable outcome. So what is talk with Taliban? Then form alliances. So that is very inevitable. Should not overlook the deep ties, because Afghani is a major faction within Taliban. It is also working over there. So India should broad base its operations. Then Kabul versus Taliban. But still, it is not a foregone conclusion that they could take. Kabul is the capital. So it's not very easy for them. Okay. And regional solution, convergence, India and key regions, China, Russia, Iran, seeing political sentiment in Afghanistan. 3 countries have already opened public So which are the three countries? China, Russia, Iran. So they started talking, and China, there is Xinjiang and other issues. Russia spill over into former Soviet republics, and then Iran, it's Shia, then Sunni, Deobadi, Taliban. Some issues are there. So India can, there is a three layer. There is safety and security of the personnel and investments. The long-term goal is to find a political solution, and if the political solution is not achieved, it should seek unconventional methods. Okay, what is that? Russia has cultivated links with the Taliban in recent years. Okay, and when it comes to Afghanistan, Iran is also, so Iran, Russia, China created a web. So the original objective of India's Chabahar in Iran, create a direct access to Afghanistan bypassing Pakistan. This direct access is critical for India in all different scenarios. This approach in India. There should be striking right balance between the continental realities and the US pivot to maritime Asia. So US and West in general, they done very great injustice to Afghanistan. One of the country that would be impacted by the consequence will be India. By the American withdrawal, has to work with Eurasian powers, that is China, Russia, Iran, protect the interest. So that's what Stanley is saying. Okay. So this editorial is pretty good, important. Then immigration bill. It's a new bill. Okay. That is immigration bill. Exploitative improvements, drawbacks, scanned gender dimensions. Korea's independent investigations. Then wounded mountains. Tourist tragedy in Himachal Pradesh points. Okay, yesterday there was news. So we need to, especially mountains. It's very fragile. Fragility of the ecology of the Himalayan states. It's very evident. Okay, especially Dharmashala, Tibet, at plateau regions. So what will be the end? दिखने में तो वो बहुत अच्छा होते हैं लेकिन बहुत डेंजरस भी होते हैं. The recent dialogue in Shersha, I remember that internal security wise, environmental security wise, it's very, very strategic areas. Okay. Bootstrapping is a compatible model of development in the hills. What is that? There is big hydroelectric projects and large-scale construction activity involving destruction of forest and harming. It is an invitation to harm. Okay. So Uttarakhand, Himachal Pradesh. There is a process to there. Then landslides are becoming frequent. Flash floods, landslides, and mega hydropower can to tap significant source of green power that substitutes energy from fossil fuels and could alter several aspects of ecology, rendering it vulnerable to the effects of extreme events such as cloudburst, slides, and earthquakes. So this region is very, very ecologically fragile. So many earthquakes, flash floods happened in Kinnaur, racially fed Satluj Valley. You see the location in the map and find out the regions, rivers, glaciers. This can also be read yet another colonial legacy. This regulatory regime needs a radical overhaul. Regulatory or regulation, industrial. It has a crippling effect. Colonial administrative apparatus retained intact. The industry is backed off. That is the case. So the investment within the state, outside the state. The 30th anniversary of economic becomes a puzzle. That means resolution is that manufacturing sector has not expanded much. The elegantly crafted trade and industry reforms. Okay. Then clean Ganga funds. So this we can see what is clean Ganga funds. Context is the National Mission for Clean Ganga received 20,000 crore program in 2014. Okay, National Mission for Clean Ganga received a 20,000 crore program in 2014 to clean up the river. So it was started in 2014. For what? To clean up the river so far. So the allocated thing is 15,000 crore. And it was conceived as 20,000 crore program. Which one? National Mission for Clean Ganga. It is a mission. Okay. Of this 10,972 crore, or about 2/3 have been released by the NMCG. Which is that NMCG, National Mission for Clean Ganga. 2/3 has been released. Further, UP has received the most funds. So that is the news, right? UP 3,535 crore. So just read the figures. And second one is Bihar, 2,631 crore. Third is Bengal, and then Uttarakhand, 1,001 crore. UP, Bihar, Bengal, Uttarakhand. And background is the funding is critical. Why? Because on June 30, 1,040 crore was available with NMCG under Namami Ganga program. Okay, Namami Ganga, so many programs are there. Ganga Action Plan is there. And then now it's, what is that? National Mission for Clean Ganga 2014. Since Modi came into power. Namami Ganga program. So several, you can read about that as well. Sets of interventions need to be taken up for cleaning, because we already said about fecal coliform in Yamuna. Like that, we need to clean rejuvenation of river, and then so many treat domestic sewage, industrial effluent, solid waste, and management, maintain ecological flow, that is environment flow. Then rural sanitation, afforestation, biodiversity conservation, public participation. So that is a cost that needs fund. What is National Mission for Clean Ganga? It was registered as a society. It is an NGO-like thing in 12th August 2011 under the Societies Registration Act. Acted as the implementation arm of National Ganga River Basin Authority. That is the implementation arm of NGRBA. constituted under the provisions of Environment Protection Act 1986. So NGRBA dissolved with effect. So it could, now there is no such body, and consequent to the constitution of National Council for Rejuvenation, so many bodies are there. Okay, protection management of River Ganga, that is a National Ganga Council. So that is the body right now. So that is Clean Ganga, UP, Clean Ganga Funds. It's under NMCG, Clean Ganga. Namami, you can read about it. Namami Ganga program, Modi inaugurated 6 mega projects last year. Namami Ganga. Haridwar, Rishikesh, Muni Ki Reti, Badrinath. So it is a flagship program under the Ministry of Jal Shakti. Okay. Which year? 2014. Namami Ganga, Ministry of Jal Shakti. Abatement of pollution and conservation, rejuvenation, national. So this is our national river. That's why this much importance. Then Tamil Nadu, UP acquired land for defense industrial corridors. Southern and northern state, both are in their formative stages. Defense industrial corridors. Just read about it. DIC. Then, yeah, there are 2 bills passed by, which are they? Factoring Regulation Amendment Bill, National Institute of Food Technology, Entrepreneurship and Management Bill. Check PRS or other sources where can get these bills, if any, if you find. So now it's a monsoon session is going on. There are 3 sessions, right? Budget, monsoon and winter session. So they passed 2 bills amid protest. So it needs to be extended by the president, then only it become goes to Raj Sabha, and then president enact. Raj Sabha proceedings were adjourned. So you can see the parliament chapter of Lakshmikant at this time. How the bills are passed and what is the content of these bills. India engages Taliban, questions Pakistan support. That we already know, right? And Kovind visited J&K, Dras, Kargil Memorial. So he visited Doha, Moscow, Tashkent. Tashkent is in Uzbekistan. Doha is in Qatar. And then Moscow is in Russia. So multi-track strategy. Then layered strategy എന്നാണ് ആര് പറഞ്ഞത്? Stanley John. In multi-track strategy necessitated this case scenario. So we need to pressurize. It was also announced Quad Land use change disrupted Kinnover's ecology. That landslip. So there are so many issues. Development projects, dams, mining, forestation, land use change, mitigation or change, impacts of hydropower development and compensatory afforestation on forest ecosystems in the high Himalayas. Both hydropower projects and afforestation efforts carried out as compensation for forest land. So the not only construction activities for hydropower and projects that disturb the forest biodiversity and fragmented the forest landscape. Okay. So these things happened. Studies are going on. The Kedarnath tragedy. Most of the issues happened. Not favorable for hydropower projects. And construct include blasting, which has to be done in a scientific manner. Development at the cost of human lives is not acceptable. So that is the case. Revenue from monuments. Okay. It's Fatehpur Sikri, Gujarat. Then Tunisia, I can read about it. Tunisian president. There is a coup. Then stalemate and ties. What is stalemate? US China officials trade barbs. And Solih. Who is Solih? Maldives president Ibrahim Mohammed Solih asked Maldivians to rise against extremism. Okay. So Maldives under Chinese control quite much. To US China, either side appear. Stalemate in relations. There are so many issues in China that Xinjiang, Uyghur Muslims, humanity issues, genocide, Hong Kong issue, genocide and crimes in Xinjiang, then Tibet, abuses in Tibet, then media freedom, then Beijing's conduct in cyberspace, missions, Taiwan Strait, and East and South China Sea, and the diplomatic counter narcotics, climate crisis, counter narcotics, operation regional concerns, including DPRK. What is that? DPRK, Iran, Afghanistan, and Burma. Okay, in Tunisia, what happened is, let's see the places. Where is Tunisia? Arab Spring. It is in West Asia. Okay. Then Maldives against extremism, because fundamentalist forces are also doing their religious extremism. It's a concern. An Afghan conflict is going on. Has devastating effect. And UK bar China firm from nuclear projects. Okay. Why? Owned nuclear energy company. Chinese goods, everything is banning everywhere. Nuclear energy, especially the issues like Israel, that ice cream, Ben and Jerry, right? Like that. Espionage, cyber attacks to human rights, Hong Kong issues, so many issues are there. So in that ground, I can do wildfire, Southern Europe. Is also going on. Then economy, there are two news. Commodity prices boosting exports value. Moody's a credit rating agency. Modest fiscal support to SMEs, small, medium, low income groups may cause deep scarring. So inflation, high inflation transitory. I mean, dovish. There is dovish, hawkish terms in inflation. The governor, there should not hasty withdrawal of policy support. So MPC, the policy committee. So there is a transitory hump. So inflation is beyond, retail inflation is beyond 6%. Okay. RBI led MPC. So it's a body of RBI. And MPC to stick with dovish pose. Check it out. What is dovish? America Securities. Abnormally high crude prices may force the RBI to adapt. That's also influences. This one is Moody's Analytics. That high commodity prices have boosted the value of India's exports, which have hit a record of 95 billion. This pandemic is going on. So exports are lifeline. It will create surplus rather than imports. So injection, not leakage. And the economics shutdowns. Now it's boosting exports value, commodity prices. So yeah, I think that's all for today. The editorial section, you can see those articles. Okay. And if you have any doubts, please do comment. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. We will do more analysis in the coming days. Okay. Yeah. Happy learning.